Morning, everyone. It's coffee chat time. I know it's been a really long time. Mm, it's actually orange juice. It's not even coffee. Because it's warm out, and Scott is off to work. And I thought I'd make a quick video because I know we haven't done a lot of videos, just like maybe us cutting wood and stuff. It's really hard for me to want to do videos when Scott's not here. Let me move this a bit. And also back in the winter time, if you notice, I did a lot of videos covering my mouth. I cracked my front tooth. I finally got it fixed. I've had a crazy month, though, I will tell you that. And we had to wait a while. Like, I was waiting till Scott started summer work, and then the truck started to mess up, and we had to dump a lot of money into the truck. And this cost almost $1,000. It was quite expensive. I don't have coverage. And if you're wondering why I'm not on Scott's, that's a whole other cup of tea and a whole other morning story, if you're interested. And I don't really feel like getting into that because it just puts me in a horrible mindset. But I will say my daughter was down, and that was really nice. And I didn't do any videos while she was down because it was just, I just wanted time just with her. And when she flew in, she spent the first night at my parents', and I picked her up. We went to the bookstore and we got a bunch of books. I got like 3. I'm on this one right now. Disturbing, but good. Um, and my daughter got some crime stories. She's into really twisty, turny crime stories. And so we basically read. It was really warm. We went to the park. We went to Iroquois Falls. We went and had a Iroquois Falls trip that I didn't want to do because I cut my finger in a fan just before she got here, and I thought maybe I could just leave it, but then I realized, thanks to my parents, I don't have a tetanus shot. So I had to go and get a tetanus shot, and he had to remove the nail and stitch it because the fan actually went right through the nail and right through the finger. I was able to stop the bleeding, but once he removed the nail, it just was bleeding, and he stitched my finger up. So fast forward to yesterday, and I'm sure you could hear these two assing around. Now, Millie and Jackson are my youngest, so they always get going, and they were getting crazy yesterday. Because Jackie's very mouthy and demanding. And I was pulling Jackie away from Millie so she could get a break, and I dislocated my pinky. Yeah. So now we're dealing with that, which, I don't know, it didn't even hurt. I didn't even realize it happened, so I looked at my finger and thought, why is my pinky hanging? So it was kind of like this. And every time I pushed it up, it would just fall right back down. It was, well, sorry, I gotta pick up Jackie's piece of bark that he's brought me to throw for him to go get, and Millie went after it, so now they're gonna argue about it. So anyways, yeah. So it doesn't hurt. Scott just splint it, and we're gonna leave it for a couple days and see what happens. Hopefully, I really don't like going to ER, and because we don't have family doctors up here, the farther north you move, the harder it is to kind of get family doctors. We are on a waiting list. So we will see. So that's basically what's been going on and why I haven't really been doing any videos, because I didn't like the way this was looking, and I know you like to have a semi-nice smile. Now they're just fillings, they're not veneers, so they're not going to be perfect, but I don't care. As long as I can hold on to my original teeth, I'll do that as long as I can. It'll probably be quite expensive, but we will do what we can. As you get older, things like this, well, this shouldn't have happened, but you know, the older you get, you just start breaking stuff, I guess. I'm sure Scott thinks I'm a disaster right now because this all kind of happened within 1 month. So, and the weather is back warm. We had beautiful cool days to the point where we actually had a fire inside one night. So, and as far as the bunkie is concerned, unfortunately, between this, the truck, We're going to have to do what we did not want to do, and that is do slight modifications to, I like to call it the shack, which is what we're in. But you wouldn't find two happier and more in love people living in a shack. I'm telling you, I don't think there's anything that can dampen. We've been through some rough patches. And even through like Scott's separation and all the things that I went through medically, we always we don't fight. I think it's just because how tumultuous, is that the language? How destructive our previous relationships were. We didn't want to bring that into here. And it was a really nice process of healing together, which I loved. And it just brought us closer together. Everything that was thrown at us just brought us closer together. And normally I don't talk about a relationship, and I told Scott this because it's such a great relationship. I don't want other people to feel bad. And I'm going to tell young women out there, do not fall for the BS that relationships are hard and you got to work. And it shouldn't be that way. It should not be that way. I'm not saying me and Scott don't have disagreements, but they're okay. We came from relationships where misunderstandings were handled with screaming, and we're not there. We are not those people anymore. And I'm not saying I came from a relationship with someone's normal voice was screaming all the time. And I can't speak for Scott's relationship, but I know enough about it that there's a lot of toxicity in both of our past relationships, and coming together, it has just been, a beautiful relationship. And a funny story is when I worked at the hospital, there was a woman who talked about her husband all the time, and I thought in my mind, because I was in a horrible relationship, and I thought, nah, this chick is lying. There is no way her marriage and that is as good as she says it is, until I met Scott. And my whole outlook was blown. I've never been in such a caring and loving relationship in all my life. And I really love the idea that my daughter was still very young when we got together. She was 10, and my sons were still young, so they can at least witness a healthy relationship before they went out and started their own kind of relationships. And especially for my daughter, they're different. The mindset is different now. That doesn't have to be a life for women. You could do whatever you want, just like when men get older, they're just deciding what they do. And maybe trying to find a partner in life, whatever that looks like. But like for young women, the end game isn't marriage and having kids all the time. The end game could be having 5 cats, 4 dogs. I don't know. Whatever brings you happiness and feel good. Rather than this is what, my parents did. Now I did this, and now she should do. No. And I'm happy that my daughter has such positive people in her life now. She lives with my brother Kale and my niece Tessa, and I couldn't think of better role models for her to be around. And I am so blessed with my family. Even my kids, I cannot say enough about how supportive they have been. Even my kids, because they were so young when I moved up here. Like, my daughter was not done high school. She stayed with my parents until she was done grade 12. But they were very supportive. They knew mentally, physically, and health-wise this is something I needed to do. So I'm very grateful for their support and my parents' support and my family support system that I have going on. So we will be doing videos again. like I said, we're pretty disappointed with the fact that we're going to be patching this and still be in this for another winter. Unfortunately, we just had to dump too much money into the truck and me, um, and other things that were going on as well around here. Um, Living off grid is expensive, and you have to be prepared when you live so far from stuff. You have to have a running vehicle. Your equipment has to be running, and like your snowblower, which we constantly had issues with. All your equipment, your chainsaws, everything has to be in working order. And not only do they have to be in working order, you have to have backups. So if they don't, for some reason, fail, you have another means to cut wood or, do whatever it is you need to do to further your off-grid life. So that's why we're trying so hard to make things as easy as possible as we are aging. Because the older we get, the harder it is to maintain this lifestyle. So that is where we're at. And we are going to try to do what we can with the other bunkie in the fall when Scott is going to be down 2 days a week. Double our bedroom floor in here because it is not insulated properly, and it needs to be insulated better to keep this place warm. We are going through a lot of wood, and it is not necessary with the size of stove we have, and this place is very small. So we definitely are going to do that, and that is something that will be done to make this more comfortable for the winter. Heavy snowfall winter, that's what they're predicting. I always go by the Farmer's Almanac, and they have been right so far, and they say we're going to get a lot of snow this winter. It's going to be a tough winter, so we are going to have lots of wood. That is going to be our only focus after sealing this place up. And then it's wood, and then it's whatever we can get done over there during the rest of the fall season into winter. Once we seal that, we can do some work inside through the winter. But keep in mind, we do go below -30 up here. So, and I hope you're enjoying this summer and surviving the heat. I love you, friends and family, and I will keep you updated.